Okay, so today we are going to be finishing up on our snowy owl. And just so you know, our I can statement. So today we're going to learn about texture so that I can create a look of soft feathers by using curved lines. So we still have this sheet. I'm going to kind of follow along, and then you're going to get your paper back. And remember, you could kind of see through this, so we're going to make sure that's a bolder white. And then you'll be getting a little tray with the colors, and then the little water cup with them, so you can rinse off and dry off your brush. And I have a couple different size of brushes that I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna use this big one first, and then I'll use my small one second. So I'm gonna start off with my owl, and I'm gonna dip my brush. Let's see if you can see all that, there we go. Dip it in my paint, and then I'm gonna first paint, oops, my brush, somebody didn't clean it out very well. Let me clean out my brush before I get started. Let's try that again. I'm gonna dip it into the paint. I'm gonna go all the way around my circle. And then I'm gonna paint it in. And I could still see a little bit through it, but it's at least a heavier coat now. Then I'm gonna go through to the body. And remember, it was kind of like an oval where I kind of painted on a U shape. So I'm gonna go around that and paint in the body. And notice I'm not going to the water because I'm using the same color. The only time I go to the water is if I'm changing a color. Then I'm gonna go into the white again. I'm gonna paint kind of a curved line for the wing. Another curved line for this wing. Then I'm gonna paint two triangle shapes for the ears. Okay, so I've got my owl pretty much painted on here, and I'm gonna go over here just a little bit more, kind of smooth out some of that white and give it even another coat of white. Does not hurt. Okay, so now I've done that, I'm gonna put my brush away, and then I'm gonna get my small brush. This is the one I'm going to use for outlining, okay? So I'm gonna use just the tip of it, and I'm gonna use black, and I'm gonna paint around the head, the ears, and it's okay if it's not perfect. I'm just gonna go nice and slow, and just like with the white, I'm not dipping it into the little water cup. So I've got that. And I could do two things. I can go around the body and then the wings, or just the wings. So let's kind of see what's gonna happen. So maybe I'm gonna paint around the wings here, and maybe paint some of the body so you can see the difference between the two. And if you want, you can go all the way up to the top with your body so it stands out even more. So I've got that all painted in here, okay? Then my owls have big eyes. I'm gonna use this black and paint really big circles. And it can be kind of scary to go into a black paint or a dark paint and not have anything to draw or to trace over. So that can be a little scary. I'm gonna put a little white dot in there. If you wanted the eyes to be yellow, you could have painted them yellow before the black, but you definitely want to paint the color before the black. But I'm going to leave mine white. And then, actually, before I rinse it out, I'm going to do the little feathers because I'm still using black for that. So I'm going to do these little, like, U shapes. This will show me, like, a feather texture. So even though it's two-dimensional flat, you're going to give it more a realistic three-dimensional look, okay? And I can have some feathers on the wings if I want to. Doesn't show it in the example, but I think that would look nice. You don't have to, okay? Now I'm gonna paint the beak. So I'm gonna clean out my brush, and remember when you clean it out, I'm swirling it around, I'm not splashing. And you can kind of wipe it on the edge if you want to. And then when you're ready to go to the color, you wanna kind of dab it on the sponge. Now with the beak, it can be an orange beak, it can be a yellow beak, a reddish beak. So I'm gonna kind of mix my color. So I'm gonna mix a little bit of white, or not white, sorry, yellow, and very little amount of red, because red's much stronger than the yellow. That's kind of a light orange color. I want it to be a little bit brighter, so I'm gonna get a little bit more. And I can paint a little triangle here. It's very light. And I like it light, but you know what? I think I want it darker than that. So let me go back in here. A little more red this time. And that's very dark. Oh, that might be too dark for me. So let me go back. A little bit of yellow until I like that. Okay, this is a little brighter. Yeah, that's gonna show up nicer. I'm just painting an upside down triangle on here. And then I can have its little claws. And I can use like the orange on that. I could use black to create the little claws. And mine's kind of standing there. It looks like it's standing in nowhere. So I'm gonna put a little log or branch on there. So let me clean out my brush before I go into a new color. So I go into the water, wipe it, water, wipe, dry it off. And maybe I'm gonna use this brown. And maybe I'm gonna paint a little log here. Maybe I'll have a little branch up here. Little log. The main thing is you want the little feet to be looking like it's stepping on the log. So what I could do, I'll show you two ways to do it. I could go around it like I just did, and that takes a little more time. Or I could be like, okay, whoopsie, I meant to get to the blue, or the brown. I keep saying blue, sorry. So I keep going to the brown, and I painted over it. So I covered up what I did. I had some branch down here, right there. But what I can do, dry it off, I can go back into my color and paint that again over. Or if that's not showing up, I could be like, okay, I'm gonna paint that black. So it's kind of like I did like a Y with a line in it. Okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit thicker at the top here. So I've got my little branch and my little owl standing on it, okay? And if you wanna add some more little details, you can certainly do that if you like, but I'd say I'm done, and I'm gonna put this on the drying rack. So I use textures to create a look of curved lines and for the soft feathers, and I used my thin brush for the outline.